Good morning. I am Lori Leek, and I am inviting you into my life to see another one of my fasting sessions where I fast for an insulin ratio of 40 or until I reach 48 hours, whichever comes first. Today is Monday, July 6th, and I have been fasting for 21 hours. I've already taken some numbers. Normally I would start this video from the tread desk where I'm walking early in the morning, but that's already behind me. Today's a little different. I've been communicating with my sisters who are camping in Vermont. And so I've been working in the kitchen and taking some numbers this morning. I will share those with you in a minute, but this video doesn't look like the first two where I recorded my fast that I was doing with my husband. We started a couples fast for our 36th wedding anniversary, which was earlier in June, or last month in June. And then we did the following week, we tried again for the 40 to 48. And this time I'm doing the 40 to 48 by myself. I completed the first fast, our anniversary fast, well. And the second fast, I didn't complete it because it was also not a completed fast for my husband. He was very miserable in the midst of the fast, and so he broke fast, and I felt bad for him, and I broke fast with him, so he didn't have to feel like he was failing on his own. So neither of us completed that one. This one I'm doing by myself. He's decided to try to just keep doing his daily fasting routine, which is about, he usually fasts between 18 hours and has a 6-hour eating window, or he might fast for 20 hours. Really depends on when I serve him food, how long he has to fast. So he's just going to keep up with his daily fast. And then I, for the past 3 weeks, have been trying to do these, start on Sunday after Sunday lunch, and then fast usually through Monday and possibly into Tuesday, likely into Tuesday, because I'm fasting until my blood glucose falls down low enough and my ketones raise up high enough that when I divide those two numbers, I end up with an insulin ratio that reaches 40. And I will explain that as the video goes on. Anyway, I'm about to take my numbers. I have been listening to a podcast while I was working here in the kitchen doing my chores, and it is the Trim Transformations podcast by two women who are Trim Healthy Mama coaches. And while this is not a podcast that is sponsored by Trim Healthy Mama, most of their guests that they have on are using the Trim Healthy Mama way of eating, which is kind of fuel separating, in order to be healthier, trim healthy mama, and to be trim healthy mama. So these two young gals, the podcasters, have on guests to talk about their trim healthy mama, or their healthy experience of dealing with their weight and their wellness. Most of them have been using Trim Healthy Mama. I included. I was on episode 6 that I will link in the show notes of this video. I'll put a lot of links in the show notes of this video to point you to teaching resources that have taught me how to do what it is I do. So I'm ready to take my glucose and my ketone number. So this is my Keto Coach meter, and I do have an affiliate link for that now that will get 10% off of the $49 kit, so it's about $45, free shipping too. My ketones are reading 0.7, so that's very good for me right now. We each kind of have our own behavior on blood. Let me start over with a fresh drop of blood here. I don't have to poke again, but I just want to raise a new drop to go on this strip and see what my glucose reading is. This is the Dario meter that I'm reading from. It says I have an 85, but I am going to test it one more time because I have unlimited test strips. I will put the 800 number for Dario that you could call and tell them that you heard about the $240 $240 annual, that's an 86, annual unlimited test strip subscription, and tell them that you're interested in that deal. I don't get any kickback on that. I'm just sending you to Dario because it's the meter that I like to use. Everybody has their pet tools to use. So I got two numbers that were really close together. I got an 85 the first time and an 86. I'm gonna get the 86 off from my record because this also keeps an overall record for me, and I don't want it skewed by too many numbers. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little math. I'm gonna divide the glucose by the ketones to get a ratio to let me know what my insulin's up to. So close this advertising. So I had an 85 of glucose divided by the 0.7 for ketones, and that gives me a ratio of 121.4. So I'm not going to round up. I'm just going to say that my insulin ratio is 121. And my target is to get a ratio down to 40. So I'm going to keep fasting until that happens, as long as I feel well. Fasting should feel good. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't feel nauseous. I shouldn't feel weak. I shouldn't feel like I can't go on. I want to feel physically well when I fast. So the targets that I keep in my mind of insulin ratios is I really don't want to get a reading of a ratio 200 or above, because according to Dr. Annette Bosworth, who teaches on YouTube, her channel name is Dr. Boz, she teaches that a ratio of 200 or above is high insulin. And I'll put a graphic here in the video about all the things in our body that insulin affects. We need insulin, but too much insulin will break down the systems in the body, the organs in the body. So she says that a ratio of 200 or above is high. I don't want to see numbers over 200, but I do all the time. I'm still working on my own health. That a ratio of 80, she says, is guaranteed weight loss. I don't have to get down to a ratio of 80 to see the number on my bathroom scale go down. But everybody's different. Our chemistry is individual. A ratio of 40, according to her, is repairing our immune system. That's my purpose for doing these fasts, starting on Sunday afternoon after Sunday lunch until I get that ratio of 40 or I hit 48 hours. I really don't want to, for the most part, I don't want to fast more than 48 hours. I have fasted for 72 hours. I've done that a couple times, but then I've also had some episodes of vertigo when I've done those longer fasts. So don't know if there's a connection, but I'm limiting myself to mostly 48 hours as my longer fasts. Dr. Boz says that for her cancer patients that she sees as an internal medicine physician, they have their oncologist, but they also work with her. She says she likes to see her cancer patients get down to a ratio of 20. And I've been fasting for over a year. It'll be 2 years in December, the beginning of December. And I looked back on my health record that I keep for myself, and I have reached ratios 4 times that were in the 20s. I think I have 3 ratios that were 26 and 1 that was 27. The first time I did one of this series of 3 fasts, that today is the 3rd fast for 40 or 48, I had a ratio of 30 twice once I was into the Tuesday. So I start on Sunday afternoon, I go to bed Sunday night without eating, I go all day Monday long typically without eating, and then I go into Tuesday in order to where my glucose has fallen low enough and my ketones have risen high enough that I get that ratio that I'm looking for. Well, the 40 to 48 hour, 40 ratio 40, 48 hour fast that I did started on around June 22nd, I think it was. On Monday, I hit a ratio of 30 around 10 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, and I had another ratio of 30. And then the next ratio I took had gone up to 36, and when I ended my fast, which was kind of at 48 hours by circumstances, I was right on the money of a ratio of 40. So I actually got lower than a ratio of 40 in that first series of weekly fasts that I think I'm going to carry on for a while until I just give my immune system a little tweaking once a week. Now when I break this fast, what I will do is I won't just have a meal and go into my next daily kind of fasting routine that I live on for the most part. I will have 2 meals, 2 nutritious, healthy meals, and then I will resume my daily fasting. So anyway, that's what I have to share in this session. I'm going to set my timer for an hour, and I will hopefully be back to show you the next ratio that I get. I'm here in my laundry room folding some of the freshly cleaned laundry, and right after I did the clip of the last blood measurement, as I started folding laundry, I had the thought of food. Now, not necessarily a hunger pang, but the thought of food. And that's really the challenge when one is fasting, is just wanting to enjoy the pleasure of eating, because eating is pleasurable. It's much more than just nourishing the body. It is socializing with people. It is loving on people. I love my family by cooking food that I know they will enjoy. Food is to entertain us if we're bored, or if we want to be distracted, or if we want to comfort ourselves. So, but what I was doing, I was just standing here folding laundry, and all of a sudden I thought to myself, I wanted the pleasure of eating, but I'm not hungry. So what do? Well, I can go drink some water. Maybe my body's telling me that I need some water. I am definitely going to go take some salt crystals, because I know that I need to keep my salt balance healthy while I'm fasting. The body needs to have good electrolytes when it's fasting, so I'm using natural mineral salts. I'll show you that in a second, and I'll go put these things away and get some salt. This is what I'm after right here. This little container that used to have glucose blood test strips in it, flip top container, and it has mineral salts in it, just salt crystals. I will put up a picture of what the 2 different varieties that I use look like. These are some mineral salts, pink Himalayan mineral salt crystals that I bought from Walmart in the baking spice section. And then this is a package of Redmond brand real salt crystals. And I found this at my local Sprouts. You can also order from them from their website, and they are available on Amazon. So I'm gonna take some salt crystals, not too many. I think I've got 5 there. That's plenty for this batch. And I like to just roll them around in my mouth, let them dissolve. If it starts to be overwhelming, too salty, then I can just drink them down and the saltiness is gone. But sometimes I want that saltiness in my mouth. It's enjoyable to me. But talking to you, I just pushed my dishwasher. Talking to you here, I don't really like having something in my mouth, so I'll swallow them down. And I said, so the other thing I was gonna do is drink some water. And I try to drink at least 2 of these 32-ounce thermal containers. This has just ice and water in it right now. I got this from Walmart, and it does a really good job of keeping water cold. I fill it with ice, and if I had started with full ice and water, this would still be cold tomorrow morning. So I think it was only $10 or something. It keeps it as cold as the Hydro Flask. So, and I think a Hydro Flask will run you about $50. So this is a better option. In addition to drinking the water, the other options are a plain, unsweetened, unflavored black tea. This happens to be the Oolong brand tea that I find at Sprouts, one of my local Sprouts grocery stores. So I buy this big box and use that. I usually have a couple cups of tea a day. Got more salt in my mouth. The other thing is just plain black coffee, unsweetened, without heavy whipping cream. And that was an adjustment for me, to give up the heavy whipping cream. Years ago, when I first went low carb, which I did for 17 years, I gave up sugar. I couldn't stand the taste of a sweetener of any kind, so I just gave up sugar and I learned to drink black coffee with my heavy whipping cream. But in a cup like this, I would easily use about a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream with every cup of coffee. And while that won't raise your insulin level, which is the whole point of fasting, is to get your insulin level to lower. The heavy whipping cream, or people add fat to their coffee like MCT oil or ghee, those fats will not raise your insulin. But if you're trying to reduce your weight, why would you add the fat in when you'd like the fat to be generated from around your organs and off from your hips and whatnot? So if you're fasting for weight loss as well as wellness, I suggest learning to drink your coffee or your tea both unsweetened and coffee without heavy whipping cream. It did take me a while to get used to that. I didn't like the bitter taste of the coffee alone. The cream just smooths everything out, and I was quite a cream drinker. My husband and I, between the two of us, easily went through a quart of cream a week in our coffee. When we started to get down to a pint of cream, we were getting low. So with fasting, we've both given up the cream in our coffee and we learned to drink it black. And now, if I want to have a cup of coffee with cream in it, I will do it with my meal. As you know, some people like to finish off a meal with a cup of coffee. Well, I will have my creamy coffee after a meal. But I found that it's not that big a deal. While it's still tasty, I actually now prefer my black coffee. So your taste buds will adjust if you just stay the course and are patient with the process. Well, somehow I missed my alarm that went off about 40 minutes ago. I think I must have been on a phone call and swiped it away when it was interrupting my phone call. I realized a few minutes ago that I missed the alarm. So it's been over an hour and 20 minutes, and I was here at my island making some biscuits for tonight's dinner and realized I need to take my blood sugar. So here we go on that. I brought my kit over so that I'm ready to do it. Listening to the intermittent fasting podcast that teaches me things about the science behind fasting and whatnot. They do a show that answers questions. So I need to get to my Dario app here and plug in for taking the numbers. Okay, get out 2 test strips just to be ready. And the Keto Coach. Oops, I don't need that. I need a Ketone Strip. I'll be right back. So I didn't need this. This is an extra pack of the glucose test strips here. The little foil pack comes in a foil pack of 25 test strips. I keep a backup here in my case. I needed to run back and go get a box of 50 of the blood ketone test strips for my Keto Coach meter. So this comes in package with 10 sleeves of individually wrapped test strips. And so I tear 5 apart and I stick them in my little pocket here so that they're almost always ready. This time they weren't. Okay, so now I'm gonna unwrap one of those and stick it in the Keto Coach meter. And so my glucose strips are ready. Today is the 6th, so I'm gonna use the 6 finger. 0, 2, 4, 6. I'll put up a graphic about that, how I do my fingers. Rotate through the use of them through the week. So stuck that into the drop of blood, and that is counting up. Let's see, what am I gonna get? We'll both know at the same time, except it's reading backwards. I think that says 0.9. Yes, it does. So that's going really well for me. Now to do the glucose reading, stick the drop of blood into the pipette end and see what this says. 87. So I'm going to save that, but I'm also going to do another glucose strip just to verify. Let's wipe that off. Oh, has it sealed up? Oh, there, okay. Like to double check my numbers. 82. All right, that was kind of a variance, 82 to 85. Let's just be double sure and get as much agreement as possible. Whoops, save it. And then stick the strip in. It tells you to place a drop of blood on, and then it's ready to read. Okay, 85. So I'm going to save it again. And of the 3 readings I got, 87, 85, 82. I'm going to go with the 85, and I can erase the 87, and I can erase the 82, and my record will be kept of my 85. And so now the next thing to do is the calculation. of 85. I'll throw that away. 85 for the glucose divided by the 0.9 to get my insulin ratio. I'm at 94. So I'm gonna guess that by the time I go to bed tonight, I might be down close to 40, but I won't break my fast late in the day. If I don't get close to 40 before evening time, I will just go ahead and keep on fasting and then break fast in the morning. So that's my plan right now. Back to biscuit making. Well, my biscuits are done, not baked. They're cut and ready to bake. I'll leave them in the fridge chilling. So they're ready to be baked tonight when my husband's on his way home from work. But the real reason I came back on is once I got those in the fridge and put away some laundry, I realized I'm feeling hunger this time. Now, I don't know if it's because I've flipped around my day, and instead of walking first, I have been working first, and I'm gonna go over to the treadmill. I don't know if just that constant moving of walking helps keep the hunger down or not, but this is the third 40-48 fast routine that I've done, 3 consecutive weeks now, and this one I'm struggling a little bit more with hunger, and I find that interesting. So, time to drink some more water, take some more salts, and hopefully be on my tread desk over there in a few more minutes so that maybe just moving around will help the hunger. It certainly will distract me. Okay, it's time to test again. So I'm at the tread desk and I'll do the test here. At the Dario Keto Coach, a test strip for the Keto Coach, pop out the Dario Meter, put that in my iPad, click on the Dario app, 2 test strips for the Dario, because that's usually what I do. All right, and let's get the test strip in the Dario. Get everything ready so that you don't have to stab your finger twice if you're all organized like this. Okay, so today is the 26th, 6th finger, pipette end into the blood drop. What are we gonna get here? .8. Okay, went down a little bit. And glucose, what does that say? So 79, okay. That's good. I should just be happy with that, but I double test. Let me wipe this away and draw just a little bit more. Didn't have to stab again, but I can squeeze and bring up some more. See what that number says. Hope it's not a big difference. 84, yeah, big enough difference that I will do another strip. I should have just been happy with the 79. Okay, so save it. And new test strip. Place a drop of blood. And while I'm here, I'll put in new test strips because I just emptied the chamber. 83. Okay, so that means that what was that, 84 and an 83? I think that's what I saw. So the first was 79, then 84, then 83. We're gonna go with the 83 to do the insulin ratio calculation. So I hate to get rid of that 79, but those other 2 numbers were close enough in agreement that I need to do it that way. So throw that test strip away, put that back in the container. Now, so the Dario, the test strips are kept here in this chamber, and all I have to do is pull on the lid and pop out the empty test strip case. That goes in the trash. And then I open a new cartridge that has 25 test strips in it. And that gets popped in. It sets in and it'll click. There. And now the test strips are here. The lancing device is down there. Throw that test strip away. And this little tiny thing is the actual meter, and that's just going to get popped into its slot where it rests in the case. Click it in and it's all back together. And then this is the white lid for the Dario, so it's a nice little case. But since I'm testing so frequently, I usually keep this white cover off, and then I just have quick access all the time to the chamber of test strips. And I put that back into my case. I'm gonna need to put another foil package cartridge in here, just so I always have one with me. But now I've got 25 new test strips in there. Oh, back to the insulin ratio. So 83 and a 0.8. Let's calculate that out. 83 for glucose in milligrams per deciliter divided by 0.8 of ketones. Ketones are always in millimole measurement. That's just universal. And that is 103. So if I look, 103.7, I will bump it up to 104. And your insulin ratio is not always on a continuous downward trajectory. It can move around on the line. So my last insulin ratio was down to a 94, but I've bumped up a little bit to that ratio of 103. Not a problem at all. I didn't eat anything, but my body may have dug in, pulled out some glucose, or turned some fat, turned some stored glycogen back into glucose, raising my glucose a little bit, not a lot, so that insulin still doesn't have to be high. But the body chemistry is a very, very interesting thing. I certainly don't have it figured out, but I'm just taking my numbers and watching what happens. And everything seems to be a variable. If you don't get enough sleep at night, then you struggle with your body chemistry the next day. Depending on what you eat will change your body chemistry. I noticed that I ate something that had corn syrup in it, and it really messed with my insulin level, made me have a higher insulin level than I've had in a long time. So I think that just plain sugar has less of a damaging effect than corn syrup. And I don't know if I have a quick link to add about the harmful effects of corn syrup, but it is not a form of sugar that I should be messing around with. I know that. Okay, one more hour, we'll test again later. Okay, it's an hour later, and I looked at my Life app that I kind of track myself on for time, how long I've been fasting. It says that I've been fasting for 25 hours and whatever minutes. I didn't pay attention to the minutes. But so I've passed the 24-hour mark. I've been fasting for 25 plus hours. Time to take the numbers again and see what my insulin is doing. So, open the case. Get out the meter out of the Dario. Plug it into my iPad. Okay. click on the app, get out 2 strips. So when I'm testing, normally not recording for posterity's sake or whatever, or to share what I'm doing, I normally test on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone. So that's why I'm testing on my iPad. And I'm glad that the iPad and the iPhone share the Dario information back and forth. So now I need a ketone strip. 60 cents pop. I do not do ketones all the time unless I'm tracking to see what the insulin is doing for a fast like this, for one of the fasts that I call 40 ratio or 48 hours. Those are my goals. All right, so my test strips are in. Finger number 6. Stick the pipette end into the drop of blood. Drop up. I touched it, messed it up. Okay. And the ketones are reading 0.7. That's interesting. Last time I think it was 0.8. 88 for glucose. You know, I wonder if there's an idea that I had going on. There's something called the cephalic phase, where in your mind, if you're anticipating food or you get a taste of something sweet, your body releases glucose in anticipation. So that's 90. What was the last one? So the cephalic phase is referring to the changes that can go on in your chemistry because of thoughts of food or even just the slightest taste of sweet. I'm going to go with the 88. Those are pretty close. I had a 90 and an 88. I'm going to wipe out the 90 and keep the 88 on record. So now I'm going to do the math. So I wonder if I've got a little casserole dish of garlic cloves that I'm slowly baking to make roasted garlic paste. And I wonder if my brain is registering that and bumping up my insulin a little bit. So 88 for glucose divided by 0.7 equals 125.71, so 126. And I'm looking at I'm going to look at my health sheet. So 128. Wait a minute. I've already forgotten because I looked at something else on the screen over there. 126. All right, so look at the health sheet and see what it says. My last insulin was 105, and I had been down to a 94. And I've been working off and on in the kitchen doing things, making biscuits, doing the garlic so it can slow bake. That's interesting. So, doesn't bother me because eventually my insulin ratio will come down. I'm not eating. The hunger seems to have gotten a little bit better. I just thought of another possibility too. I took my potassium and my magnesium that I have to take throughout the day. And when I did that, I also took one of my overall multivitamin things that I have. It's not just one pill that my multivitamins are. So I spread those throughout the day to try to take advantage. So I wonder if that was a little bump up too. But I've got my water, I got my salts, I feel good. I get to walk here for a while on the tread desk because I got to take care of some things online. So it's all good. Just keep on fasting. Besides, I choose to look on the bright side for pretty much everything in life. Find the silver lining. And for right now, the silver lining is that I have been under an insulin ratio of 200 all day long. Well, I was right on a 200 ratio this morning, but I woke up this morning and my ratio was 182. Then at almost 10 o'clock it was 200, 121, 94, 105, and just right now this reading of 126. I'm glad that they're all under 200 because sometimes I live above a ratio of 200 way too often. Okay, another set of readings. I have been fasting for 26 hours and 14 minutes. So let's do another set of readings here. Okay. Open the Dario. Couple strips. Meter. Pop it in. Connecting. Insert. Glucose. Not ketone strip. Okay, I'm wondering if my insulin's going to go up a little bit more because the house smells amazing right now with garlic. I'm roasting a dish of garlic for having that on hand for cooking. It was probably about 10 bulbs of garlic that I'm roasting, peeled and roasting. So I wonder what the insulin's going to do. I'll show you in a second here. So, 0.6, and I don't have off the top of my head what it was last time, but I'll look at the sheet in a minute. So now the glucose. So I'm wondering if my brain's having a response to that food smell. 88 is that number. Let's take one more reading to compare. And second reading, here we go. Okay, and that's 86. So I'm gonna go with the 86 because I like that number better. I'm gonna get rid of the 88 since I'm here on the page. So 86, saving that. Now I'm going to do the math of 88. I don't know if you can, I guess the glare doesn't let you see. 88, that's the glucose, divided by the 0.6 for the ketones, gives me a ratio of 146.6. I'll round that up to 147. And now, let me go look at my health chart to remind myself. So yes, the insulin ratio is going up a little bit because last time, I'll put these numbers in. So 80, what I just got an 86 divided by 0.6, right? No, 88, wait a minute. Now I'm confusing myself because I'm not sure. No, it was supposed to be 86. I did the whole math thing wrong. Let's do it again. Now it's a huge deal. 86 divided by 0. I'm having all kinds of technical things here. Start over. 86 divided by 0.6, insulin ratio 143, and the last reading was 126. So let me fix this number for glucose. 86 divided by 0.6, and Steve, fixed this for me and made a nice little calculation so I can just pop it in here, 143. And in case you want to know, whoops, in case you want to know the GKI, let's do that. GKI 8. So GKI means glucose ketone index. I'm using, in my brain it works better to use the Dr. Boz ratio, and that's glucose divided by ketones to give you just the ratio, versus GKI you have to, here let me move the camera. With GKI you do glucose divided by, glucose divided by ketones, and that total you divide by 18 again. So that final number is the GKI, where I'm stopping with just the glucose divided by ketones, seeing what that ratio is. Now, all that doesn't matter if you're starting with the European measurement of a glucose meter that is doing things in millimoles. And I'm trying to remember the math on that, but it's it doesn't matter for this video. Maybe I'll put up a graphic about it. But anyway, I just normally stick with the Dr. Boz ratio when I'm measuring myself, but to help other people out, sometimes I mention the GKI, and I'm certainly keeping a column on my chart that includes the GKI measurement. So with my insulin ratio going up, I wonder if it's happening because I had stored away a little too much glycogen over the last couple of days and now it's pulling it out, or if my brain is having such a strong response to such a strong garlic smell in the house that's changing some of my body chemistry. Don't know, but just keep on fasting. I'm feeling good. That's a good thing. And I've got in 3 miles that I've been walking along here. Normally at this time of day, which is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm all done with my tread desk walking, and I've got a whole lot more miles under me than 3 miles, 3.25 miles. But I didn't get on the tread desk this morning like I normally do. I just started working on other things. So a lot of just homemaking chores today. Laundry, cooking, things like that. That's how I ended up with all this garlic as I peeled. I think it was about 9 bulbs of garlic that's now in the toaster oven on a slow roast. And boy, does the house smell. I hope Steve thinks it's a good smell when he walks in. It is so strong. I better check it and make sure I'm not burning my garlic. I just have this sort of lightly resting on it. No, it's still just slow roasting, but I probably ought to slow it down some more. I don't want to burn it. Burned garlic does not taste good. So I'm going to turn this down to a lower temperature. I think I'm down to about 225 now. Just, wow, it's strong. Well, it's been another hour, and I'm probably going to take my last recording reading of the day. I mean, recording myself taking a reading for this day, because Steve's on his way home, and once he's home, I'm not going to do any more recording. So I'm set up to take another reading. I am, let's see, what am I in terms of fasting time, according to my Life app? 27 and a half hours fasted so far, and it's 5:20 in the evening. So I am probably nowhere down to a 40, but you never know until you test. You can't guess, it's better to test. So here I go to take my glucose and let you see that. I'm watching it in the screen myself. 0.8, okay, so going up a little bit, that's good. And now glucose. $94, that surprises me. Sometimes testing is a surprise. So I'm gonna do another number. Wipe that off. Okay, it's coming up. Oh, you can't see the numbers because I don't have the camera pointed down. So that says 83. That's more of what I suspected, but I'm going to test again. It's the beauty of these unlimited test strips when you're subscribed to the annual subscription. It's called the Dario Pro 365 subscription. And I'll have the 800 number to call in the show notes in case you want to follow up on that. You will not get that price if you register online. Okay, so that was an 87. And since I'm talking to you and trying to keep numbers in my head, I can't do it all. Let's look at the logbook. So 94 down to 83 to 87. You know what? I'm gonna just take the 83. That's because it's what I want. All right, so 83 for glucose divided by 0.8. That gives me an insulin ratio of 103.75. I'll round up to 104. So anyway, I'll take some more numbers tonight before I go to bed, but this will be the last recording for tonight, and then I'll start recording again tomorrow sometime and update on how the fasting is going. I feel really good, so that's a good sign. Fasting on. Oh, I'm not gonna get many miles for me today. I just rolled over to 5.04 miles. And that's low for me on a tread desk time. Good morning. It's a new day in my fast for 40 ratio or for 48 hours, whichever comes first. Made it through the evening last night. That's actually my hardest time when I'm fasting, is to just not have anything to eat in the evening, to skip dinner, and to go to bed without food. But thankfully there wasn't hunger there to bother me, so I'm doing well. It was more mental. Eating is as much a mental thing as it is a hunger thing, for me at least. So I'm ready to take my next set of numbers. I took a number ratio this morning at 6 o'clock. I had a waking glucose of 87, a ketone of 0.8, and that gave me a ratio of 109 to let me know where my insulin was. That's a really nice morning insulin to wake up to for me. Then at 7:50, almost 2 hours later, my glucose was 84. So it'd gone down 3 points. The ketones were 0.9, which went up 1/10 of a point on ketones, and that gave me an insulin ratio of 93. So now we'll take another insulin ratio, and then I will be getting off the tread desk to get ready for something that I have to do. Okay, so I've got my my Dario set up here on my iPad. I've got the Ketone Strip in the Keto Coach meter, and I'm ready to test. So I'm today is the 7th, so I'm using the 7th finger. Just quickly review on that. I use all 10 fingers to test on. My left hand is for the even numbers because left, the word left has 4 letters in it, even. And so those are 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then my right hand, right is spelled with 5 letters, R-A-G-H-T. So I do, and that's odd. So I do all the odd day numbered days on my right hand. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, an odd day, ending with an odd number. So I'm going to use my 7th finger here. That's how I move the pain around. Drawing a drop of blood for the Keto Coach. Sticking the pipette, whoops, Keto Coach turned off. Very important to make sure that the device you're using is on and shows a blinking drop of blood. That's how most of them work. So now it is, and now I can go ahead and take my number, see what I'm at. Reading it backwards because I'm looking in the screen. 1.5, I almost said 1.2, 1.5, that's great. Really great ketones for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna check my glucose. And you can see that that is getting ready to read. And it says that my glucose is at 82. I am going to test one more reading just to compare. So let's do that. My finger heals up really quickly. I'm not sure. No, I am going to have to poke it again because I talked long enough for it to seal up. All right, so new drop of blood here. And I have an 85. So they are close enough together. And this is my testing thing. So I'm gonna go with the 82 to see what my ratio is. So 82 divided by 1.5. We'll do that calculation here on the calculator app. 82 divided by 1.5, those are the ketones, gives me an insulin ratio of 54.6. My target is 40, so I am getting much closer. Now I've already thought about what's happening in my day today. And I may reach my ratio of 40 before something that I have scheduled at 2 o'clock happens. And I want to be clear thinking during that. It's an important thing to me. And so thinking through my day, I realized that even if I do make a ratio of 40 today, or I get to 48 hours, I'm gonna wait to eat. As long as I feel good, I'm gonna keep waiting to eat until after that 2 o'clock appointment so that I have the best opportunity for clear thinking in a situation where I would be a little bit nervous probably. And when our brains are running on more ketones, we do have better, clearer thinking. At least that's my experience, and that's what I have read. So I will keep testing, and it may show up on one of these tests that I record here on this video that I reach 40, but at that point, if it doesn't happen before, if it does happen before the 2 o'clock appointment that I have, I'm just gonna keep fasting and break my fast after the 2 o'clock thing that I have scheduled. So anyway, there we go. I'm making really good progress. That's a ratio again, it was 54.6, running 6s a whole bunch of the way. I'm rounding it up to an insulin ratio of 55. And I will just review Dr. Boz's insulin ratio targets again. Anything 200 or above is considered high insulin. If you want guaranteed weight loss, she says get to a ratio of 80. I don't have to do that to lose weight. I see weight loss above that ratio. And she says that if you want to repair your immune system and make your body healthier, to get to a ratio of 40. And then if you've got a diagnosed case of cancer and you're her patient that she's working with, she wants you to get to a ratio of 20. So there are the targets: 200, 80, 40, and 20 of glucose divided by ketones for one of those ratios, depending on what your health goals and desires are. Okay, it is 2.5 hours since I last recorded and tested, and since then, actually it's maybe a little bit longer than that. I tested at 10:30 after I did a little recording clip, and I had a glucose of 90 and a ketone all the way up to 2.2, which gave me an insulin ratio of 41. So I was almost there at the 40 ratio mark. So as I said in my last clip, I'm not going to break fast until after I do something that is scheduled at 2 o'clock my time, so that I have clear thinking. So I still, no matter what the reading that I'm going to take right now is, I will still keep fasting, because I'll break fast probably about 3 o'clock my time this afternoon. So I'm going to take another number right now. My last reading that you saw on the camera was an 82 glucose with a 1.5 ketone, and that was a ratio of 55. And then about an hour later, I did another ratio as I was walking out the door to go do something. That was the 90 divided by 2.2 that gave me a ratio of 41. So now I will see what my ratio is. Since it's 2.5 hours since my last test, I had to go have an eye appointment. All right, so the ketone meter, I'm putting the test strip in to make sure it turns on. It turns on, and there's a flashing drop of blood. So now, stab number 7, and get a good drop of blood for the ketone meter. Put the pipette end in. Why they don't have it read this right side up, I don't know, but then you turn the meter around. Let's see what we're at. Wow, down, drop. Oh, no, I was reading it backwards. I thought that said 0.5. 2.0. Okay, so the last ketone reading that I took that you didn't see was 2.2. It is dropped a little bit, but that's okay. 2.0 is a really good ketone reading for me. And now I'm going to test the glucose. And you can see that coming up on camera here. 90. And I will test it one more time, just to verify. Get that drop of blood out here again. It's coming, it's coming. All right, not much is needed. Here we go. Always a little surprised. What's the number going to be? 82. Well, there was an 8-point difference there. Well, I like the 82 and would be happy to go with it. I'm going to stick another test strip in and just see of the 3 numbers which seems to be the most accurate. Okay. one more time, hopefully, and we'll get some sort of an agreement here. 85. Okay, I'm going to go with the 85 because we did have the 82, 85, and a 90. Let's just go with the 85 and do the math. That means my insulin is a little higher than it was last time I tested. So 85, get rid of the add, close. 85 glucose divided by 2.0 ketones equals 42.5. I would round that up to 43, which is fine. It is 1:03 my time right now. And I won't be able to eat until at least 3 o'clock, I think. Let me log onto my computer here for a second. I wanted to show you when I came back home, I'd received a delivery from Dario, which is on automatic, and I'll show you how it looks. So I got this delivery of my next batch of glucose strips from Dario. So they send me this box automatically. There's 100 in here, so another 100 and another 100, and then within these 100 boxes, this is where the little packages of the cartridges are. So there's 4 cartridges of 25 each, and since I started, I think I changed out this cartridge on the during this video already. So you see how quickly I can go through glucose strips. Pull the cartridge out, came out by the lid, toss that away, open one of these foil packs, get the cartridge out, and that just pops in to there. And I had 1 test strip left over in the other cartridge I just took out. So now that's 25 test strips there in the top of this cartridge. And there is an end cap here for this, but I test so frequently. I'm taking this thing off and on all the time. It just gets in my way. Makes the case look nice and sleek, but this is the actual meter piece, like a little Duplo piece with a lightning cable thing tip on it, and that sits in here, pops down shut. So if the Dario were all nice and neatly packaged up, there it is. This is the test strips on this end. The lancing device, the needle is in here. So I pull that back and cock it to make the needle come out, and you flip it over, and if you just pull that, the little Duplo piece pops out. It doesn't have to be a projectile, but it is. So usually I'm just kind of holding on to this when I pop. Usually I'm holding on to it when I pop it out. Okay, so that's the little meter pop in and out. So I got a new batch of 300 test strips, and I do not have to call them. I do not have to send an email. They just automatically send these to me based on my usage, which is a very high usage for them. I'm sure they're not making a whole lot of money on me, but I do tell people about them. I don't get any kickback on that. $240 a year for my subscription to have this meter and these test strips mailed to me automatically. Also wanted to, I wanted to tell you about the Keto Coach, since I was thinking of it. So the Keto Coach, the website is Keto Coach, just the name on here, X. So ketocoachx.com. And their test strips are individually sealed. So I like that. They're nice and clean, and it costs for 50 test strips off their website, it's $39.95. To get the meter kit, let's see what that comes with. Well, first I will tell you that the meter kit just comes with a few of the glucose test strips and to get you started. So if you did order the Keto Coach, which costs $49.95, but if you use my name in the checkout slot, I actually was looking at it at the website, and I don't know if you could see that, but if you use my name, Lori Leak, in the discount code slot, sorry for my unprofessional camera skills here, but that will whack 10% off for you, and there's no shipping to get the Keto Coach meter. But I do recommend, if you're going to buy the meter, you just go ahead and buy yourself at the same time 50 test strips, which is $39.95 for a package of them, and then your total, they do free shipping, will be $85.89. And this is how I manage my weight and my wellness, by knowing what my glucose and ketone numbers are, because then I can know what my insulin ratio is. And if I can fast for a certain insulin ratio, I can guarantee myself losing weight or maintaining weight or improving my health, because I'm fasting for the ratio of 40, which is supposed to improve my immune system according to Dr. Boz. I certainly know that it's improving my overall morning glucose numbers. I just think it's a wise self-health management, and we would spend a lot more money going back and forth to doctors, and I really don't want to live out the rest of my days on medications. There's a difference between lifespan and health span. You can have a very long lifespan, but what if you're spending the last 10 to 20 years limited in what you can do because you don't have good health, or living on medications because you're not willing to change your diet and lifestyle? That's not how I want to live. I want to have a long health span to go along with my lifespan for whatever days God chooses to give me. So that's one reason that I'm willing to stab my finger multiple times and do fasting. I never thought I would fast and go without food, but it actually has worked out really well. There's a lot of conveniences to it, and I feel better, I sleep better. So I guess that's all for on that little soapbox rant right now. I'll be back later for more ranting. Well, that is done. My 2 o'clock thing is finished, and I can take my glucose now and go ahead and break fast. Let's see, I'm pretty sure I made the 48 hours. Let's look at the Life app, and it will tell me what my fasting hours are. So the 2 o'clock thing, well, here we are. Okay, so I've made at least one of the goals. I have been fasting for 49 hours. We're not taking that call. 49 hours and 7 minutes. And my fast goals are either to have an insulin ratio of 40, of glucose divided by ketones equals 40, or to fast for 48 hours. So I've completed my goal one way or the other, and I'm going to break fast. I'm ready to take my last glucose numbers and show you what I'm going to break fast with. So here I've got the strip in the Keto Coach meter, and I'm going to put the Dario meter in my iPad and use the Dario app, and that strip is in. I'm going to poke finger number 7 because today is July 7th, and I have my drop of blood, and here we go. So I'll read it backwards again if I can, and try not to be surprised. So what is it going to give me? I think that is a 2.8. Yes, I can sort of read backwards. Okay, that's very high ketones for me. Now for the glucose. And I can tell you I was burning a lot of adrenaline at that 2 o'clock thing. Okay, 101. So my body dug in and pulled out some energy for me. I don't expect my glucose actually to be a whole lot lower than this 101 because I was doing a podcast interview with a name I know, but I don't know the person, and I've never done this particular interview. I've done another podcast interview, but this woman was today, a different woman, and you just get nervous on these kind of things. So there's lots of adrenaline going through the system. And I wanted to clear mine, and that's why I didn't break fast before, even though it pretty much was at my ratio already. Okay, 98. We're gonna go with that as the blood glucose number. And let's go to the calculator and figure out my insulin ratio. 98 divided by 2.8, which are the ketones. My insulin ratio is 35. So I made both of my goal targets. I got my insulin ratio at 40 or below. I'm at 35. I made it fasting for 48 hours, actually 49 hours. And now that podcast interview is behind me, so I can go ahead and eat, and it's okay if my after meal brain is a little foggy. Sort of like after Thanksgiving, you know, you don't have the most energy after your Thanksgiving meal. Well, it's because the blood goes to the stomach, start working on the digestion, and it diverts it away from the brain. So I'm very happy that this week is unlike last week. Last week I was fasting with Steve, and it was our second week to do a fast from Sunday lunch onward to try to get these ratios, targets of either a ratio of 40 or 48 hours. And last week, the headache was so bad for him, he stopped on Monday when he got home, and he had dinner, and he was discouraged. And so I broke my fast with him then too, even though I wasn't at either of the targets. But at that point, to me, my relationship as his wife, being in solidarity with him when he was down and discouraged, was more important to me than my vanity of winning and making one of the goals. Our first week to do this fast for 40 or 48 was around June 23rd, our wedding anniversary. And I did make the goals, both of them, but he broke fast in the middle of the night at about 1 a.m. into Monday night. He made it through Sunday evening without dinner. All day Monday, we were great in the evening. We kept busy with reading, and I think we may have taken a walk. But in the middle of the night, the headache woke him up. It was so bad. So the 2 times he has tried this 40 to 48 thing has not worked for him. We are trying a couple different solutions, and he may try it again later. So this week, Sunday afternoon, I started my 3rd one of these 40 to 48 hour fast, ratio of 40 to or 48 hour fast. and I feel good that I was able to make this one this week. So out of the 3 that we've done, I've completed 2, and I'm doing it for immune repair, immune strengthening purposes. And I'll show you my meal that I will break fast with, and then I probably will go ahead and eat with him again tonight. Or if I'm too full and I don't feel like I want to put in more food before going to bed, which really isn't the best idea to be, at least for me, to be eating late at night. I have better glucose numbers in the morning when I stop eating by 4 p.m. every day. Sometimes I have to eat later for social reasons, for family gatherings or whatever. Not many people stop their eating by 4 p.m. every day. So I adjust my fasting life to fit my normal family life. And anyway, I lost my train of thought. So I'm gonna go get the meal ready, and I'll show you that before I break fast. This is my breaking fast, my break fast meal. I have here a chana dal soup topped with some cilantro, and the cilantro had been chopped up and frozen, but that doesn't bother me. It's greens, and I saved the greens from being wasted. I have a video on that, saving your greens. So chana dal soup, and if the recipe's public, I will put it in the video description area. If not, I'll just link the book and page number where it can be found. I have a glass of double fermented milk kefir, and that is topped with some cinnamon, because cinnamon is very good for blood sugar control. I have a couple of my homemade whole wheat biscuits, a recipe that would be considered a buttermilk biscuit recipe, but instead of buttermilk, I use my milk kefir as the fermented milk that's in there. And then I have a salad of Persian cucumbers and grape tomatoes sliced in half, as well as some red onion and lots of cilantro. And that is all stirred together with some salt and pepper and a little bit of lime juice. And then I have 3 slices of grilled eggplant and a couple of flattened chicken tenders. For my biscuits, I may have butter from the yellow butter dish. I may have strawberry jam that I made myself, which is a stevia sweetened, glucomannan thickened strawberry jam. I may have some raw unfiltered honey on my biscuit. I don't know yet. I just set it out so it was here and I can sit and enjoy my meal. And if I feel like having dessert at some point today, after this meal, right after the meal, or maybe an hour or 2 after, I'm probably gonna have a banana and some peanut butter and some Trim Healthy Mama chocolate chips that are very healthy chocolate chips. So there is my break fast meal, and I feel really, really good right now. I actually could keep fasting and not have any problem, but Steve and I have agreed that I will try to limit myself to just 48-hour fasts, because I've done a couple longer ones and then they were followed by some vertigo. Don't know if that was the cause of the vertigo, but it's connected in our minds, and so I'm not doing the longer fast right now. 48 hours is good, actually, and I did 49 hours.